Hello everybody, this is Gold Glee Gamer 1 and Dyne, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VI.
And we're gonna jump off a cliff again, after a battle.
Well, yeah, the thing is, like, I kept losing on this one battle inside the cave, so I thought, well, you know, why don't I just refight Tritoch off camera, so we don't have to sit through it again.
Yeah, that one battle is probably the one I warned of at the end of the video. Was it a monster in the box?
Okay, it's something. Well, you're not gonna see it on camera. The enemy's called a pug, and
Yep, that's it.
yeah, it has this one attack called Spin Mine, I think it is.
Step mine.
Step Mine, yeah.
Yeah, it's an attack that calculates damage based on how many steps you've taken. And the pug is actually the classic Final Fantasy enemy Tonberry. They just called it pug because Tonberry wouldn't fit. But yeah, they are in a chest in this dungeon, and very, very hard to fight.
Yes. Step mines take on a lot of damage.
Yep, and you also have to be careful in here because there are collapsing floors, and you can very easily fall. However, there is also a chest in here, if I remember correctly, containing a Genji glove. So you do not want to leave here without it.
Okay.
So this is actually a good place if you get the Moogle charm and just come back here, avoid the chest with the pug/Tonberries. You should be able to find the Genji glove with no problem. Because once you come in here, the only way out is jumping off a cliff again. Excuse me. Pal Maker turns him into an imp. Yeah, the imp status isn't overly annoying. Of course, you get green cherries, which cures it. In fact, there are some hidden equipment you can get from some various monsters that, if you equip them in imp form, it will make them extremely powerful. And unfortunately, I don't remember the layout of this dungeon overly well, so I couldn't tell you exactly which chest has the Genji glove. I just remember that it most likely is in this area. Three of these guys are surrounded. They'll go down easily. And that Smash Brothers match I've been talking about is still going on. Got Foxes out of the running. Mario, Zelda, and Link are left, and Mario's winning.
Yep.
I still have my TV off, so I don't know the status of the Wii U one. Okay, battle over.
Yep.
And some of these bridges will also break if you fall, if you step on them too. I think that chest right there has the Tonberries in it.
Tonberries, huh?
Yep. What the pugs really are. They're just called pugs in this translation. So, very evil, nasty treasure chests. Do not fight if you can't handle them. And if you want to handle them, you need Cure 3 and have at least 3,000 HP.
Alright.
And in fact, there is a boss later on where if you want to survive his final attack, you want 7,000 HP unless you have life 3. So, Finn finally learned some new spells. Yeah, this area is pretty short if you know which way to go, which is this way. Some switches here. You want to trigger the second one. Both of them do the same thing. You just end up in different places. Ah, Kiwok. I'm suddenly reminded of... Ah, no. I was going to say I'm reminded of the sacred words guarded by the Knights of Ni in Monty Python, but Kiwok is not one of them. But hey, who doesn't want to throw out a Monty Python reference down?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to remember where I heard that. Just Kiwok! Flip that switch.
And this is actually where we want to be.
Yep. Yeah, you want to examine that bone carving. Get that magicite. If you try to leave, you'll just leave. You won't run into this big guy here who's causing earthquakes.
I think his name is Umajo.
Tomorrow.
Oh, Umaro.
Yep. And the magicite you received, Hirado, is actually Midgar Zormer, which is also translated as Midgard Zalem in Final Fantasy VII. It is representative of the snake Uroboros, or Jormungand from Norse mythology, the snake who circles around and eats his own tail. So when you summon him, he appears like a giant snake. Yeah, Umaro, like everything else in here, is weak against fire. And you need Mog in order to recruit him after you beat him. Otherwise, he'll just sit there and say nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, Celeste is doing some nice, handy damage. Green Cherry, not the same one you can use. Power 100 times up, defense up, magic defense up, speed up, recovery up. 100 times up. I can swear this is almost a joke. Just what they threw in there. I'm pretty sure the original translation of that is some kind of alcoholic item as well. But yeah, he's already down. Thanks to Celeste.
Yep.
And a whole whopping 10 gold pieces. Yeah. So he'll just sit there. You need to talk to him with Mog. And he will join up. Now, Umaro cannot equip Espers and therefore cannot learn magic. Umaro bone carvings as strong as a Gigas, a Sasquatch pal with muscle.
Well, then what use is he if he can't use magic?
He is the best physical attacker in the game. When you use him in battle, he is uncontrollable. He will just attack. But he is one of the best characters used in the Colosseum because of that. And he is the one who can equip the Rage Ring. He'll basically pull a Super Mario RPG, pick up a party member, and throw him at the enemy for massive damage.
Oh, that's just like Bowser's Hurley Glove.
Exactly. And once you're out of there, and as soon as you get out of there that way, you can just cast Warp and leave Narshe that way.
I'm gonna admit, like, the Hurley Glove is actually one of my favorite weapons from that game.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, all the new Magicite you got are further down on the list. You just don't see them at the top. So you just have to scroll down to see them.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened to them.
Well, the ones you don't have are ones that fill in those blanks, like the Zoneseek and Golem from the auction house and Seraphim from Zen.
Oh, so they only go into specific spots in that menu.
Yes. Yeah, you can't sort them. They all show up in pre-designated spots, so you just have to scroll down to see all of them.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that.
Yep, because you can see the flashing arrow on the middle right of the screen. It's just saying, hey, there's more down there! Take a look!
Okay.
And as for the way to go, you actually want to head to the right. Because heading to the left is going to take you back to where you came from. Yeah, the other optional party member you can recruit at this point in the game is actually very well hidden. I actually found him completely by accident the first time. And in order to get to where you can find him, you have to seemingly commit suicide, is the best way to put it.
Okay.
And I'll point that out when we get there. So I know you mentioned finding him in your forum updates.
Oh yeah, back when I was doing that thread on the Mac.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, how's Final Fantasy IV coming along?
Oh, well, I've been trying to play more of that, but I can't seem to find where to go after getting the Sand Ruby.
Go back to Kaipo, and that's what you use to heal Rosa.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And once she joins the party, you go back past the Sand Ruby Cave and into the mountains. Because you can't get through there without Rosa, technically.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up somehow, because unless we can do a hangout, you will be unable to see exactly where I'm at.
It won't be a problem.
Okay.
Yes, I'm always willing to dispense advice on these Final Fantasy games.
Well,
I first played number 4 when I was 9 years old. I got a quarter of the way into the game before I game overed and did not know you could save.
Have you played any of the PlayStation Final Fantasies?
Oh, of course. I've beaten all the mainstream ones except for 11 and 14.
Yeah,
Simply because I'm not big on MMOs.
Well, alright, because here are all the. I'm guessing is a 7 through 9 on the PlayStation 1.
Oh, of course.
And like 10 through 14 are on later PlayStations.
Yeah, 10, 11, and 12 are on PlayStation 2, though 11 is also on PC. And 13 and 14 are on PlayStation 3. And 15 is going to be on PS4. I don't know if it's going to get a PS3 port or not.
Oh, so... Alright, so 15 has not been released yet.
Right, it's still in development. But a demo is going to be released with Final Fantasy Type 0 HD next month. So people are happy about that. And of course, you have the spin-off series, the Final Fantasy Adventure, Final Fantasy Legend, which are actually the Saga games, and Seiken Densetsu.
I thought there's also Tactics on the Wii.
Final Fantasy Tactics on PS1 and PSP. The Tactics Advance on Game Boy Advance and DS. Then you have the Crystal Chronicles series, which is probably the main one I have not done. Then you have.
I know there's also Final Fantasy 1 on the GBA. I believe that was one that Turbo LP'd.
Yep, and yeah, you have Final Fantasy 1 on the original NES. That got an updated port on PS1. It got a full remake on the GBA and an updated remake on the PSP.
Yeah, but I was warned that Final Fantasy 1 is the hardest one of the series.
It is if you play the NES version. The PS1 port has an easy mode, which is, of course, much more balanced, and then the GBA version rebalanced the game entirely. It is much, much easier.
Alright.
Yeah, the hardest one to date that has not been rebalanced is definitely Final Fantasy 3.
The one released in Japan.
Yes, and that one is available on DS and PSP, and I think it recently got a Steam version on PC. But that one's definitely the hardest, and probably the second hardest at this point is Final Fantasy 4 DS.
Okay, so even though it was released in Japan, there is a USA port available.
Yep, finally got ported back in like 2003. Yeah, it got a 3D remake, but didn't change much else.
Well, that actually was a good idea, because if you played the original Japanese Final Fantasies, it would be hard to read the text because not all of us speak Japanese.
Oh, of course. Well, my late brother still managed to play through Final Fantasy 3 on Famicom without reading Japanese. He just kind of muddled his way through it, figured out what menu options did what, and...
Yeah, of course, like when we did the Castlevania 3 race, even though it was the Japan version, it had all English text.
Yep, courtesy of someone making an English patch for it. But the rest of this video is just getting out of town. That's why we're talking about these things.
Yep. Yeah, because there's really not much we can do after we escape Narshe. Even though now that we've talked about it in a later video, I may have to come back here again.
Oh, of course. Do not forget to come back here and get that Moogle charm. And the Genji glove.
Yeah, so, like I said, my guess for that part 43 will mostly be going back and getting some last minute stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was an interesting glitch on the video. It looked like Celeste was on top of the bridge when the battle hit. And as for the Smash match, it is down to Mario and Link. Mario has 18 lives, Link has 9. I think Mario's going to win this one. And then he'll face me and be utterly crushed and defeated. Oh, that always feels so good to watch them build up as strong as they get. And then I swat them away like flies. There, obligatory cameo for the video. I'm gone now.
Alright.
With it being so late in the video, you probably thought I wasn't going to appear, did you? Well, I sneak up whenever you're not thinking about it. I'm in there watching you at all times.
You know, Kefka, maybe you should be in a future Smash Bros. Game.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to get in there because of copyright reasons. These are Nintendo franchises. The closest I would come is a PlayStation port of Fortune Street. Now that I think about it, have I been in one of those?
Well, Fortune Street is mostly Super Mario and Dragon Quest.
If it's on a Nintendo console. If it's on a Sony console, they have Final Fantasy characters instead of the Mario characters. but none of the PlayStation Fortune Streets have been released in the US. Really hope they've released more of those here, though.
Alright, until next time, this is Gold Glee Gamer 1.
Hold on, you still have 10 seconds. Don't do the outro yet. Wait a moment. Okay, you can do it now.
Until next time, this is Gold Glee Gamer 1 and Dyne. Later, folks.
Bye, guys, when we figure out where we're going next.